Bum 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 bum. We would have been here earlier, but Raider game.
I mean, guys got to watch his Raiders, so we could not come live.
How about this game? Raiders. Is this two overtime games? First Hainer, now Carr. Something in the water. Bulldogs.
Did the Dogs go to OT?
No, but just thrilling.
The drama,
late,
yeah.
Come from behind. Just star quarterbacks. What's up, everybody? YouTube exclusive. Let me get this link out there.
I'm tweeting it out as well. Little pre-gamer.
I didn't grab my pregame Tito's. I guess that'll be in the first quarter. You got one right there?
No.
No.
But I have some right here.
All right. Weird. What we got today? I mean, Bucks lose in a not close game. Seahawks lose in a not close game.
We didn't win any bets. Honestly, really not. I guess the Giants probably are closest.
That was our dead of the week. We lost that.
So
yeah, we had them -3, and we had the Ravens -8.
So, just glad to fucking be alive here.
The crazy thing about it at mybookie.ag, promo code HAM1, where we do our bets, is when we made it. Now, tell me if I'm misremembering this, because it's always easy after the fact when you lose a bet to be like, I loved thing X, But you really liked Broncos -10.5 Jets. I really liked Browns, whatever that line was on the Bears. And for some reason, we agreed. You like that game, I like that game, and our compromise was Ravens -8.
I don't know, but again, I don't hate that game either. Like that's our philosophy.
I don't hate it either. I'm just saying the other two won by a combined 52-6.
I know, guy. The Bears had one net passing yard. They had one net passing yard. One. The Broncos fucking destroyed them. Like the Jets are a joke. The Jets. One thing was clear today. The Lions have a little more moxie and heart and fight than some of these other teams. Like the other teams will wilt. I mean, truly wilt, right? Even the Jags, they wilt. The Jets just have nothing. My philosophy on that Broncos thing was just mile high. The team's so young. The Broncos and the Raiders now combined 6-0. When you get two teams that are hot, you just ride them.
Well, the Raiders haven't kicked this field goal yet, have they?
Oh, yeah, they haven't even officially covered. Chiefs 1-2. They're in shambles.
Yeah. They've played good. Like, are you worried about the Chiefs?
So who have they played? They played the Chargers. They lost to the Ravens. And they beat their schedule's been a little bit different than Patsy's. But today, they were just going toe-to-toe with Herbert, and Mahomes made some pretty inexplicable. He threw a no-look pick. Like, the no-look thing. Let's just try to get a couple wins before we get the no-look passes going.
But when you think about it, how many other guys have thrown a no-look pick?
It did go off the guy's hands. So, Asante Jr. made an incredible, leaping grab for it. Brandon Staley gives pretty good post-game speeches. A lot of Nick Saban-ites, but he's good at that. I'm impressed with the guy.
Did he give the ball to Dean Spanos?
I didn't see Dean in the locker room, no.
I saw a shot of him on the sideline. All right, John, here we go. Play clock running down, or as the Ravens call it, doesn't matter.
This is pretty big for the spread. Do you think Gruden's even going to mess around and he'll just kick?
Well, I think he'll kick, but he's getting 6 yards on every play. Like everyone wanted the Chargers to kneel it and then just play for the field goal instead of leaving time for the Chiefs.
Yeah, I saw that. And then he just kept throwing to Mike Williams.
He
gave Mike Williams the game ball.
I understand it, except it's hard for me to argue you should have played for the field goal when your kicker missed the extra point after the touchdown.
The extra Mike point Williams was probably a little bit longer.
No, for sure. But I'm just saying, it's hard for me to go, we should have relied on the kicker when he misses an extra point.
They've missed a lot of kicks over the years, some scar tissue. I also think they were smoking them on these routes with Mike Williams on the Chiefs couldn't stop them. So what? I had a friend today text me and said I was on the golf course. I just got a couple texts. about the Chargers being idiots at the end of the game. I'm like, you can't be an idiot when you score touchdowns. Like there is not just some hard and fast rule that you have to kneel it to kick. Like you can keep throwing till you score a touchdown, right? That clearly was kind of controversial with.
Yeah, it was on Twitter. It was controversial.
But I just think even like the guy sitting at home who's not on Twitter, which is most of America, got worked up over it.
Yeah, no, yeah. A lot of people thought. I think there's just I understand the belief that you just do everything you can to not give Patrick Mahomes the ball back, or at least make them use their timeout before. But to me, scoring a touchdown can never be 100% wrong. It can be imperfect and like, there's a better way to do it. But to me, scoring a touchdown, when people are suggesting you should play for the field goal and then your kicker misses the extra point, I can't get fully on board with that.
You do score a touchdown kind of fast, and they do get the ball back. Again, if you do miss the field goal. I can understand.
It's legitimate. I'm just saying it's not 100% idiocy that you score a touchdown. 25-yard attempt for the win. What the hell? I respect that.
What do you have to lose if you're that guy?
I respect that. Let's see here. Mark on YouTube. Mark says DraftKings promo code HAM top 10 finish this week for Mark as we're watching the end of the game. Let's check in here. Oh yeah, that's Mark. I see Mark second place. Congratulations, Mark. You just won $360 on the. I could probably try and zoom that in a little bit.
I peaked. I was 16th for a minute, but
where'd you finish up?
I didn't. Yeah, right there. It's right there. You passed me.
There you are. Oh, Lamar.
He let me down. Latavius let me down.
Good. That's a pretty good roster.
Not bad. My defense was money.
Yeah,
Browns. I love having a good defense. Raiders win. 3-0, guy. The Raiders are 3, and the Raiders and the Broncos are 3-0. The Raiders' schedule's been much more difficult than the Broncos, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Now the Steeler game's aging. Ben's a throwback. We don't. There are even Breeze. You really kind of had to know Drew Brees. Like he didn't look that bad. Everyone's like he's shot. Like no, Peyton was truly shot, and Ben now kind of to me looks truly shot. Breeze just looked like an older version of himself. But we don't get that often. Like this guy is just done. Kind of happened to Eli. Even Rivers' last year wasn't like shot. He just looked older. Like we're getting this version of Ben is pretty sad. I mean, the pick he threw today to the guy right in front of him. Did you see the guy he was throwing at? There were 2 Bengals right there. He would have thrown a pick to 3 different guys. I feel like he's just lost, and he's pressing, and the team sucks.
Yeah, if the guy 4 feet away from you can catch the football when you're not throwing like a screen, you might have lost a little arm strength. It's like what's the movie with the Matrix where he's always like dodging bullets?
I think they're coming out that easy.
So the Cardinals are 3-0, the Rams are 3-0, Carolina's 3-0. Denver, like you said, and the Raiders are 3-0. And so tonight the Niners have a chance to join them.
Rams? You say Rams?
3-0, Yep. And meanwhile, the Seahawks are 1-2, and the Chiefs are 1-2. Pretty crazy.
Remember like 3 or 4 years ago? I guess it would have been a little longer because Jimmy was still on the team. When the Pats, I think, were 1-2. They definitely still.
I'm sorry if you said this. I was looking at some comments. Was that a Thursday night game?
I think it was Monday Night Football.
Monday night, okay.
But they were 2-2, and it shows you 1-2 sounds a lot worse than 2-2. I mean, it is because you might go 1-3, but 2-2 is pretty bad when your standards are pretty high. I mean, I'd say when you're Seattle and Kansas City, you're used to losing. I mean, the Chiefs. How many games have they lost the last 3 years? Total 6. I mean, I think last year they went 14-2. The year before they were 13-3. Like they just don't lose that much under Mahomes.
Yeah.
The other year they hosted the Patriots in the AFC Championship game. They've had home field for 3 straight years. I'm pretty sure. Maybe 1 year the Ravens had it and they got knocked out, but that Ravens team went 15-1 or 14-2. So the Chiefs just don't lose. Now, the Chargers, that fucking guy they got playing from Oregon, he's a pretty good guy. Like
God.
he's pretty. You know what's aging pretty good?
Curb Your Enthusiasm?
This rookie quarterback class aging. It's early, but it's been a rough go for the crew. It's been a rough go for the crew. How about the quarterback class of Burrow? Looked good today. They're 2-1. He's playing well. Tua's terrible and injured. And Herbert, but like if Burrow and Herbert are Pro Bowl level guys, they're in pretty good shape.
I mean, they both look like they're. I mean, Herbert might be all pro level, right?
Herbert's better than Burrow.
Bua.
Bua. I'm like Dustin Johnson after 17 cocktails.
And John, we still, jury's still out on Jordan Love. Mac Jones did have a rough day. Mac Jones got booed today.
He did. One of his picks, as Twitter told me, because I crushed him for a couple picks, one of them went off one of the tight end's hands. But I guess Belichick grabbed him by the wrist as they were walking off the field, escorted him off. I mean, they were kind of getting housed. I looked up, they were down 21-3.
Yeah,
in the second half.
There's some
on Edelman Day.
Edelman Day. Like, to me, shouldn't Edelman Day be when the Bucks come to town? Shouldn't that have been Edelman Day?
I just
like, to me, there'd be something pretty funny about Brady's back and it's Edelman Day.
Didn't Jules just retire? Couldn't you save that for a year or two? Like, are you questioning how everything's going to go? That's what it feels like the Giants are doing a little bit. Like, just take a deep breath. Not the San Francisco Giants, but the San Francisco Giants did that when they went through a rough couple of periods. They're like, Jeff Kent Day, Matt Cain, perfect game day. You just start throwing shit out. Some of these teams, like Robert, Julian's not going anywhere. You know who threw 4 touchdowns today? Actually, no, he threw 3.
Who?
I'm telling you, this guy's good. Kirk Cousins, 30 of 38, 320, 3 TDs, no picks.
This game was bound to be. You had Thielen, I had Thielen. I'm surprised the Seahawks didn't score more points, but if you play fantasy,
he didn't have a great game.
Cousins is actually more likable, I think, if you play fantasy than if you're like a Vikings fan.
Do you think that's why he's really grown on me these last 2 years? I've been playing DraftKings.
I think so. Because I think you probably had Thielen on your team, 3 times, 4 or 5 times a year. I know I have.
I'll take.
Usually, what I've done, little trick of the trade. This is how I finished 53rd this week. Is I'll take who the Vikings are playing and then Thielen and another receiver. Obviously, you couldn't take Dalvin Cook today.
God, Josh Allen had a good fantasy day. 32 of 43. 32 of 43. 364 touchdowns, no picks. You see the tight end, the prom celebration they did?
Bills prom celebration? No.
Yeah, well, Knox, the tight end, scores a touchdown. He stands kind of at the corner by the pylon. Josh Allen runs up behind him, grabs his hips like they're taking a prom pic, and they both smile. It's pretty funny.
What's with the I saw 2 different guys today. Kyler did it, and somebody was in the Raider game.
Meditating?
The meditation.
A wide receiver did it. Godwin did it. I think
Kyler did it today too.
Kyler is the guy that I saw do it last week. Maybe it's just, getting your mind right, get your mentals right.
Get your mentals. All right. John, we've got name that 49er running back will be the game tonight. Trey Sermon, you'll recognize him. Kerryon Johnson, Trenton Cannon, Jacques Patrick. Those are your active 49ers running backs for this game. David Bakhtiari, still no. Is it Elgton Jenkins, who was his replacement? No.
Yeah.
So some people in the chat, a lot of people I've seen are expecting a big day for Nick Bosa, given that they're going to have Billy Turner at left tackle.
Technically, the third string left tackle. Yeah,
he's the right tackle, and then on you go. So,
are you sure they're putting Billy Turner over there? Because I read, I'm not an offensive line expert, saw that they might leave him at right tackle and just put some random guy at left because they don't want to. Keep mixing and matching.
Okay,
it's like a huge domino effect.
They'll move Danny Kelly over to left.
I don't know what they're gonna do. Either way, I mean, it's if Rodgers is their best player and Devontae is their second best player.
Safeties.
Bakhtiari and Zadarius are probably 3 and 4, so they're missing their third and fourth best players. that Jenkins guy was good last year. I mean, I think he was a rookie last year. He proved he could play guard, he could play tackle, he could play left tackle. You know, if they can just slow down, what's his name, that had about 17 touchdowns on Monday Night Football, you got to like the Niners, right? I would double team
so.
Devontae and just stop the run. Niners should win.
I think so. And Emmanuel Mosley comes back.
Plus, if you're the Packers, you're like, bro, we're going to win this division. You see the other teams in our division? I guess Minnesota, if the Packers lost tonight, would be like, we're not dead, right?
Minnesota could just beat you also, right? Like, even if they're not as good as you over the course of 17, they could be almost as good as you maybe and then beat you once, and you end up in a weird spot if you lose a couple of games you shouldn't lose. Yeah.
Wouldn't it be nice? Like, if you're the Niners, you're like, God, I'm jealous of your division. It's got to you just sleep a little bit better during the week. You're like, fuck. Even for a split second, I was rooting for it, but I didn't get too cocky. I'm like, Arizona's going to lose to Urban Meyer, and then Trevor throws this pick six to Byron Murphy. It was like, oh, this thing's over.
Well, did you? I saw that play on Red Zone. I didn't quite realize what happened until I saw the replay that it was a flea flicker.
Oh, I don't know how hard I was paying attention. I just saw he had a sweet pick on the sideline and take it.
Such a bad throw.
Yeah. I guess he had another pick too. I just saw Kingsbury in the locker room give him a game ball.
Well, we were texting about it during the game. It's like, on what planet does Urban Meyer not think he should beat Cliff Kingsbury by 30 points? You know,
Sundays.
It's like,
what would the spread have been over the last decade if Urban Meyer played Cliff Kingsbury on a Saturday? 30
it would have been high 20s. Yeah, maybe 30.
And it would have been a terrible.
And he would have
matchup.
covered.
Yeah, it would have been terrible.
He would have covered. So,
and for did you ever think, like, were you ever getting confident like Arizona's going to go down, or just hard to touch?
Yeah, I thought when they got the pick six, or when they returned the 109-yard touchdown off the miss, when it was the 68-yard field goal attempt that resulted in a 109-yard touchdown, I thought maybe we should have taken the Jags money line.
Do you know what's crazy is when that happens because of the kick six? I've heard it explained so many times. I'm like, oh, huge disadvantage. You got all the big heavies. You got the speed guy. There aren't. How many athletes are there on the field
You're
if
down
you get
two
to the corner?
Well, I guess you're down one tackler because you got the holder out there.
Do you have a truly athletic guy on that team? I mean, maybe a tight end, and depending if he's on the wrong side, maybe he doesn't have the angle. You have a lot of guards and tackles out there, and D tackles.
Because it's not a coverage unit. None of those guys have to run down the field.
You got to hope your kicker's athletic.
In theory, it's the same snapper. That guy is used to running down the field on punt return, right?
Yeah, the snapper.
The snapper might be your most experienced tackler in that scenario.
I think you're right. He probably is.
And you're already, obviously
you see the snapper, he was already he missed him at the 10-yard line. So the snapper went down.
He knew what to do.
But he's not fast enough to cut the guy off. So once he gets to the corner, how far was their field goal that they attempted? 60 plus?
68, I believe. It was longer than the Justin Tucker attempt.
Oh, so that's why he was getting crushed. Like, what are you even doing this for?
The record.
Well, Tucker did inside, hit the crossbar, and bounced up over.
Pretty crazy.
I felt, I don't think I thought he was going to make it, but I definitely didn't think he didn't have a chance when he lined up for the kick.
Yeah, I was confident he was going to make it. No, I thought he had a shot though.
Once it went straight, I thought he got it by like 5 yards. It didn't feel that close when it was in the air. I'm like, oh my god, he
it's
hit
a
this
long
from 75.
way to go. Benson says Niners style depends on getting a lead early so they can run the ball. Rams are going to force Jimmy to throw 40 times. Not going to end well. Yeah, how do you feel about the Rams right now? Because I think they look like you thought they could look.
Well, is Cooper Kupp one of the best players in the league right now?
Yeah.
He's dominating. He's absolutely dominating. It shows you why they made the trade. And it showed you why Kyle wanted that quarterback as well. I mean, he's just everyone sounds like they're shitting on Jared Goff. They're not. This guy's just on a completely different level. Like, there are differences in number one overall picks. Like, the difference, if Matt Stafford and Jared Goff had been in the same draft, there is no chance, absolutely none, that any team, the Lions back in the day or the Rams that one year, would have taken Jared Goff over Matt Stafford. And I like Jared Goff coming out of college. I think he's probably been a little worse than I would have thought. Like it turns out he's not as good as Matt Ryan, right? But he's not
Right.
but he's not bad. He's just not good.
He's
just
an NFL starter, but
yeah, probably in the 20s when the dust settles.
12 NFL starters a year you're actually trying to replace. I
Yeah.
wouldn't put him in that category quite, but I mean he was for the Rams, obviously.
I feel like Ryan was much better, for like his 10 prime years, like in his 20s.
Yeah.
Because neither of them can move. Neither of them. Stafford can just. I feel like they take much deeper shots now. Now part of it.
Oh my God. Are you kidding? It's funny, John. It's been, if you really think back at what our lives have been like since the Rams got Stafford, and it was kind of clear pretty quickly the Niners wanted him too. I think you and I agreed early on. We believed the reports that said the Niners tried to get him. And then the draft, the trade, then the draft, then Trey. We probably talked the least about the quarterback position for the 49ers this last week than we have in several months. Right? After he played week 1, Trey Lance didn't play last week, and it just wasn't part of the storyline. I mean, we talked about it a little bit, but I think he plays early tonight. I think Kyle makes an effort to get Trey Lance into this game early. Because to get him into the game before the situation dictates that he can't, to try and almost plan him in. What do you think?
It's going to feel, just as you looked up, not that these other teams are dictating Kyle's game plan, but you got multiple teams in your Division 3-0. It depends how the game feels. Because right away, the Eagles game, maybe it was just set the tone by that first play. You're like, holy shit, is this kind of a heavyweight type fight? And we talked about it last week right after the game. They could not afford Trey to come in for his one play or get a fumble or get a pick.
Yeah.
Not that can't happen to Jimmy, but you're not going to bring in another quarterback and risk any funny business. To me, if the opening drive, let's just say the opening 4 or 5 plays, you have a couple 10-plus yard gainers, I think everyone breathes a little differently, and he comes in. But to me, if you have a couple series where you're just going 3 and out, or their defense looks like it's neutralizing you a little bit, I think that's what throws Kyle off. To me, if they're moving the ball, you could tell me Trey gets 12 plays tonight, right? If it's just moving the ball, hell, even if it's a shootout and the Packers are scoring 2. To me, if it's a low-scoring first half, could dictate a little bit. Like, are you just bringing them into... Now, you could argue with the running back situation somewhat in flux just because you have these guys.
I'll say.
Kerryon Johnson, I used to like him when he was at Detroit. He played for the Auburn back in the day. I was a big fan. I think he's just kind of had a bunch of injuries. You could argue just Trey's role tonight might just be a little bit as a runner to supplement some of those runs, right? With just some of the inside zone stuff where he just keeps behind Trent, put Kittle, Trent Williams, just kind of run behind him, maybe a couple quarterback sweeps. So you give 2 of the carries that would have gone to Elijah Mitchell and Raheem Mostert, maybe 2 or 3 to Trey Lance, and then Trey. I mean, I'm all for, like, at this day and age, these guys have to clear a protocol. It's pretty serious. But, I mean, the guy has 1 carry in his career and he got knocked out, and now I think most people would be like, yeah, I bet Trey Sermon leads the team in carries tonight. It's pretty crazy how that that turnaround just happens like that for concussion guys.
It is. It's a big night for a number of guys, though. I mean, just in terms of like things we'll be talking about after the game. We'll be back here on YouTube, by the way, doing the podcast when the game's over. So be sure to come back for that. But with him, with Ayuk, with Trey, but given the circumstances right now, I put up earlier in the chat just like score predictions, and somebody said health, please. It'd be if the Niners could do that, where they give Trey Sermon 14 carries tonight, and he plays well. I mean, that'd feel like a major win if he plays well, walks off the field healthy after the thing. At least for the running back group, like, can you turn to this guy? Running backs as rookies contribute right away,
all the time. Yeah.
So they need him. I mean, they just do. They need him healthy and they need him productive.
But I mean, the good part about the position where it's very unlikely, like defensive end or linebacker, those other guys you named, Kerryon Johnson, the dude they claimed from the Bengals practice squad.
Jock Patrick.
Would it shock you if one of those two has like 50, 60 yards? Like, it is the one position where a guy can come in and get 4 or 5 carries, right, for 30, 40 yards. Bust a big 25-yard run. It happens all over the league where Dalvin Cook's out today, boom, turn on the TV. Madison, the dude from Boise State, running down Seattle's throat. Now, he was a third-round pick, but my point is that, like, the Rams, I mean, Sony Michel, they got some random guys, running. It is the one position that you could get down to practice squad guys. Like, it's the position that if you need to, which the Niners did this week, claim a guy from practice squad, you feel pretty good about it. Because there are probably 10 other guys right now on practice squads that are claimable at that position. Now, the Niners have a specific type running back, so maybe half the claimable guys don't fit your running scheme. Maybe they're dancers. Maybe they do, they like a specific get downhill. I bet this guy, you said Jock Peterson?
Jock Patrick.
Jock Patrick.
Yeah.
I would imagine he's a one-cut downhill runner, right? I mean, their styles all look the same, which actually keeps more guys alive because I remember when I was with Andy that he liked that guy to have some cutting ability.
it's a little early to be diving this deep into your running. Like, at some point, you need a little stability. I know that's what Kyle does.
One guy's out for the year.
Yeah. But now you got Hasty. Hasty look good. He's out. Mitchell look good. He's out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when you ask these guys to fucking try to run over every single guy they see,
I guess my point is, I don't think in just like forever you can just keep going to these guys and plugging them, and it's just always gonna, like, you're gonna lose a little bit every time, or every couple of times you're gonna lose a little something.
But I will give them credit. Last year, it was clear Raheem Mostert was not a dependable year-round back, despite when he's healthy, he's really good.
Right.
So they go in the draft, and they draft 2 running backs, and both of them through 2 games got hurt. So it's like, what? I can't draft a running back every round. I can't just sign unlimited running backs. I think they did pretty well to equip the room. It's just now when they get tackled, they just got to get up. There's just, I don't know what else you can really say.
No, all I'm saying is it's almost a problem.
But running backs go down. They just do at a high rate around the league.
I know, and it's a problem if another one goes back in this game. That's my point. It's just, I'd feel a lot better about it if Trey Sermon plays well, plays healthy.
But see, guy, this is where I'll push back a little bit on this position. You can claim guys like Cincinnati. They have Zach Taylor, who came from Sean McVay, who runs like I think there are a lot of guys around the league who you can kind of plug and play in the system at that position, and who can contribute. Like, if Kinlaw goes down, you're like, hey, Adam Peters, could you go find me someone 6'6", 340, first-round pedigree? It's hard.
Right. No, it's probably the easiest position to do it. I'm just saying you will lose a little something as time goes on. And it's only week 3. If it was week 7, maybe I'd feel differently, but it's week 3.
But don't we have to acknowledge that they lost something with Raheem Mostert going out for the year?
Yeah, we do. Absolutely.
Look at the Raiders. Like, Josh Jacobs not playing, they're a much better team with Josh Jacobs on the field. Like, when you lose your starting running back, who is an impact player, I think sometimes, and I'm guilty, we just gloss over it when I'm talking about these running backs. Like, him more than these other guys. Like, that is a pretty big blow. I think it's bigger than Verrett because that position, you just, whatever. I mean, guys in this league, people are catching balls left and right. If I had to choose one, I would choose Mostert playing all 17 games over Verrett, just because Mostert might give me 8 or 9 touchdowns. And I'm going to have to win some games probably in the high 20s.
Yeah, I mean.
And I don't think Jason Verrett is, I think sometimes in these parts he gets talked about because the bar is so low at corner, like he's.
Well, yeah, he was the best corner. I agree.
Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah, I mean it's that's the other thing tonight. Josh Norman again. Josh Norman, right? And Emmanuel Mosley
are starting.
Starting. Yeah.
Well, at least they can. Those guys are good tacklers. I saw Derrick Henry today. catch this screen, and I always kind of like, he gets so much hype for being a big back, but he doesn't play, You watch some like Walter Payton highlights with him like or Earl Campbell. That's not how Derrick Henry plays. But he catches the screen, and he's kind of got some green grass, and he's like cutting. Then Darius Leonard comes out of nowhere, and he just can't avoid him. He lowers his shoulder, Derrick Henry. Darius Leonard flies like 15 yards backwards. I'm like, you guys are pretty lucky this guy doesn't violently attack people on most runs, because he would just then like 8 Colts tackle him.
It's probably better for him, right?
Oh yeah, but if he was a violent runner, oh my God, he would kill some people. Is Kinlaw playing?
I said starting. Like I don't have official starters. I'm just presuming Norman and Mosley.
I don't know why he wouldn't.
And
Lenore gets to play. I think you can rotate him in, kind of. I think the Niners are kind of like a college team. Like Norman is at the point now where you don't have to like, we're paying him $17 a year. Leave him out there. It's not one of those situations.
Right.
Which I think he's been in before at his last 2 stops. You're just paying him. You're just like, I got to ride him.
Here's your answer on Kinlaw.
Yeah, Kinlaw, Armstead.
Here.
See, just get that body out there. Look at that.
Ooh, look at that body. Look at that body.
Armstead's at the point now where he's smart. He just doesn't practice all week, shows up for the game.
No, he gets the rest day. God, he's huge.
He is a big boy.
Yeah, I do think too, from like obviously it's a Niners perspective, but for Green Bay, they kind of bounced back, but against the Lions, this is just kind of a big test for them. They got their asses kicked week 1, right? Like, I think if I were talking about this from a Green Bay perspective, obviously you want to win the game, but part of this is just, does it look like you're on track? Even if you end up at 1-2, whatever, like you said earlier, your whole division's 1-2. Well, actually not Detroit, they're 0-3, but 1-2 has you. If they lose tonight, the Packers are tied for first in their division.
But I will stop taking them as seriously against the Niners, the Rams, physical team. I even think the Eagles would give them some trouble. Like the Packers would have a toughness, a real question, which I think they clearly already do.
Yeah.
But it would be hard for a guy that, my unofficial, just if you said, John, September 1st, who do you think's representing the NFC? I'd be like, the Packers. I don't know why I even did that, but I was pretty just like, yeah, the Packers would be good.
You said you thought the Packers would win the NFC?
I just thought I feel pretty confident they were going to be right in the mix to be like they've been the last 2 years, but the version last year and probably be even better. And if they get, pushed around tonight, and I would imagine the Niners are going to try to just make this an ugly, just backyard brawl because we don't think you're tough. They don't want to get in this. You throw to Devontae, then we throw to Ayuk. You throw to Devontae, then we throw to Ayuk. That's not what the Niners want to do, right?
Right. Although it'd be nice if they threw to Ayuk.
Yeah, it would be. Like, I want to throw to Ayuk a couple times, but just for first downs, keep the clock moving, right?
So, how many catches does Ayuk have this year? 2?
Yeah, 2 or 3. He has the only catch that I remember is the one on the corner.
I can picture 1. Yeah,
I feel like 1 catch, 3 yards is his season total. He doesn't have 1 week 1, so
right.
It might just be 1 catch, 3 yards.
We got close. 1 catch, 6 yards.
Did that feel like 6 yards? Maybe. I feel like it was 3rd and 3. Maybe it was a couple.
It definitely felt like 1 catch. So, I love. Go ahead. I was gonna say I love this matchup. Like there are some matchups like today. Watching the Browns and the Bears. The Browns, whose uniforms should be ugly on paper, but are actually awesome. I think
those were the throwbacks today.
Those with like the 3D numbers are really cool. But just in general, the Browns uniforms should be ugly, and yet I find myself liking them. But that's another game where I just that's a great game that's a great TV game. It's such a good
Bears Browns.
I just love that game in theory.
Yeah. It was fun watching Myles Garrett fly around and get his name chanted and go like this.
Yeah. Even Myles, God, Khalil Mack. I can't believe they had 1 yard passing. How about the shot on the sideline that you sent me of Dalton talking to Foles? Now, was Foles saying – Foles could have been saying, God, our defense is playing great and this offense just isn't working. Or he could have been saying, this offense is not working.
But he's not – but here's my issue with something like that when it goes viral. He's saying the offense isn't working. Every human alive on their couch, I think that was definitely was the
1,000%.
national game on Fox, is sitting there going – I mean, millions of people watching that thing, and I bet they thought in their mind, not dumb, right? Ohio State quarterback, let's ride. Was that the mindset? Why was that the solo game? West Coast Fox, we get Justin Fields. You can't tell me it's not Ohio State. Fox, the algorithm, like I mean, come on. And it was ugly. Matt, why do you drop him back like he's fucking Jimmy Garoppolo or Andy Dalton? Why don't you roll him out? And then he can just take off. Felt like they ran an offense like they had Baker Mayfield playing quarterback. You have a running quarterback. Have him run around.
Are they going to hire Eric Bieniemy?
I mean, I don't know.
Joe Brady?
They're going to... I do think you'd have to take that job if you truly... Like, if I was a guy... Now, it's an NFL job. Clearly, they don't think about it. If you really like Justin Fields coming out, then you should be doing everything humanly active once that job becomes available to try to get it. But if you didn't like him,
right?
So many guys get in that spot, and then it gets really weird a couple years in. Like, I didn't choose this guy. And you're like, well, like Nagy, when you took the job with Mitch, well, you didn't like Mitch. He's 22. He's under like you're going to have to write it out minimum 3 years.
But you think you can?
I know.
Take your time and maybe make him a little better and. Get your
happen?
guy. Well, it's you got to get lucky and get a quarterback. Some of that's just like I do understand. It's like I just got to get a job. This is a pretty premium NFL job, the Chicago Bears, right? And then you just roll the dice that you'll end up with a quarterback.
Well, it's like sometimes when a job is open with a young, intriguing guy that everyone likes, but the owner and the organization is like the organization. Like, fuck, Justin Herbert, Arthur Smith's interviewing with everyone. He's like, I want the Falcons job. Even the year Jack Del Rio got the Raider job, people are like, I don't want the Raiders. Like, you got Carr and Mack. The Chargers had Justin Herbert, Joey Bosa, Mike Williams, Keenan Allen. Why weren't people, I don't care about Dean Spanos. Like, you have a chance to win there. Everyone's like, give me Atlanta. Love the real estate prices. Well, yeah, your team's going to suck.
But you do like the owner seems to be probably a little more of a first-class organization.
How hard is it to acquire a quarterback?
Well, how hard is it to acquire Justin Herbert? I mean, as hard as it is to acquire a quarterback, it's 10x harder to get Justin Herbert as your quarterback.
I know, and he was available.
Brandon, how many Justin Herberts exist physically in the league? 3. Him, Josh Allen.
I watched college football all day yesterday. There aren't that many right now in college football, it feels like, just like watching all the different games. I don't see that many like 6'4" guys with a hose.
But I'm saying there's none in college. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm saying there's none in the NFL.
It's a short list, but it's not like there's all these guys coming up the pipe, and then we know just how random the draft is. It's hard. You might just get a team, well, they're drafting 7th. You're like, well, you're shit out of luck. So it's like, oh, we'll just take the corner. And then you're like, well, you're 3-14, but at least you got this cool corner.
J.C. Horn.
Like, do the Broncos feel a little vindicated today? Or is it early? But
vindicated
on their race.
On what?
Just, just
not taking any of the quarter.
Fields, take the corner.
Yeah.
They're good. They just have an identity.
Yeah, I mean, at some point you have to take a swing for a quarterback, though. Like, so in the moment, they're better off than the Jets, clearly, right? But like they will have a ceiling on them.
Well, it's like
now they might make the playoffs this year. So,
well, I mean, can they beat the Raiders, Chiefs, and Chargers with Teddy Bridgewater? Right? They got 6 games where they're going to have the disadvantage at that position. See, Staley's ringing the horn here
from the ham pod.
Yeah, he just they brought Joe Staley to ring the horn or blow the horn or.
Ooh, look at LaFleur.
He just said, "Let's fucking go." Okay.
Did he say? I gotta rewind that, but looked like he was trying to get Kyle to stare him down on the other sideline. All right, should we go watch this football game?
Yeah, let's go watch this game.
All right, everybody. We'll be back here after the game. Thanks for hanging with us for a little pregame. Go get your Tito's. Send us some pictures of your Tito's. And we'll be back for the live pod right here on YouTube after Niners Packers.